Hello, beautifuls and beloveds. How are you? Oh, here. Noelle Rose Anderson hyphen Kale coming to you live, raw, real, and uncensored. That's right, beautifuls and beloveds. And what do? I talk about dance. I talk about all these horrible things happening in my life, good and bad. Yeah, that's what we do over here. Oh, Lord help us. It's really hot. We're in the Coachella Valley. I know that's so cool now, right? Because of the festival. But my husband is from here. His family is from here. Yep. Been here over 50 years now. So we know this pretty area pretty well. And I lived here too. That's how we met. That's where we met. Right here. In lovely downtown Palm Springs, Palm Desert. It's all the same. It all looks the same. Anyway, it's really flipping hot here. But I prefer this heat here than the Los Angeles heat because the humidity is just wretched. It might as well be 150 degrees, you know what I mean? So my body remembers this. We lived in Vegas for a long time too, but it's hotter here than it is in Vegas for sure. Except during monsoon time in August. Ew, yuck. It's really, ugh. Anyway, so we are just moving right along here. I want to talk about my Red Ribbons story today because, well, there's a lot of reasons why. But this isn't going to be a long one. It's not going to be too short, but it's not going to be very long either. So Red Ribbons, you know the story, right? My grandmother tacked on a little tiny red ribbon with a Catholic patron saint that was supposed to preserve and protect my virginity, and she attached all of that, fastened all of that to my diaper, training pants, whatever the thing was then. And it didn't protect my virginity. You know, my grandfather raped me, and the same hands that were supposed to be trustworthy were the same hands that raped my mother. Like a lot. And there's a lot of hurt and a lot of horrible things. And my mother is gone, and most of my family is gone. And last year a lot of them were wiped out. And there were reasons why, we believe, but another video for that. But a little bit of background. So I want to talk to you about the symbolism and significance of red ribbons and the research and things that we think and opinions that we have, and what we may have stumbled onto inadvertently, and it would explain a lot of things. So my Red Ribbons story is very unique, I understand that, but it seems that it stands for a lot more than what I thought. For me, it stands for obviously what happened to me, but it's about the triumph that I had. So we're back. And I believe I inadvertently also called some people out without realizing that I was calling people out. Because, so you do know that there's human trafficking, and children, I know this for a fact, are trafficked. They are harmed. They are sold. They are used as, well, horrible things, and I'm not happy with it. Older people can be trafficked too. Let's put it this way: the older they are, the harder it is to traffic them. Why? Because they can talk, they can run, they can fight back. So yeah, a lot of children are trafficked, and it's horrible, and I'm not too happy about it. But what are we gonna do? Fight back. You make a dance. You have a wonderful company like I do. So anyway. We've been watching a lot of different videos. Some people have sent us some people have just so conveniently flipped the covers around and used video stores, you know, used DVD, kind of like they do with the vinyls, remember? When CDs were coming into vogue, they had a place where you can buy old LPs, vinyl, buy an old record player. Well, this is an extension of that. You can buy old DVDs. And so we've been watching those that have been suggested to us by having their covers front like this, right? Mm-hmm. And some we found like this, but a lot like that. I'm like, okay, let's just watch this. And we see a lot of hint drops with red ribbons, little girls, especially blondes, and pigtails, and yeah. Little Orphan Annie, red dresses, a tight red curly hair, and it's very interesting. And I was looking at the similarities in my life, and I'm like, Anne, or On, is one of my surnames. I have a few. Anne, Annie, Anna, it's all derivatives of my grandmother's name. And there's a lot of significance with that. But here's the thing about red ribbons. We were very much kind of concerned at why some people were having really bad problems, and why certain people who had their own, hey, I want to support people who've been raped as children, molested, and they weren't vetted, okay? I knew that. You could tell because there was a very independent heartbeat, very much like ours. And all of a sudden, you know, there's this silencing of us and them, and I'm like, this is bad. It's very bad. There's this movement. I started seeing it happen, like, well, 2011 for sure, but then it started getting more and more prominent and widespread. Very much like a disgusting virus, okay, or yeast, how it leavens the whole loaf. It can be good or bad, depending on who you look at it. This is bad. And I was like, oh, but these people can do it. Why? Because they were vetted. In other words, the people who do this human trafficking, I think, very much had their hand in it and influence down the grapevine, from the head of the octopus, the neck, the tentacles, and then dances all the way at the bottom. And I'm like, I'm not for that. I am very much against it. I am going to speak out, and I'm going to make red ribbons happen. And we had a red ribbons dance concert where we not just do excerpts. We've done that at different performances, but we also do the whole show, and it's pretty huge. It's turned into almost 2 hours long, and it's a beautiful piece. I've done it so many different ways, but the story still remains the same, and a lot of the choreography stays the same. We sometimes switch pieces in and out, depending on location, time allotted, things like that. And we did one at the Miles Memorial Playhouse, and we had to cut the time short, which grieved all of us, but it was going to cost us so much money. It's like, what happened? There's no ticket sales? Somebody was saying that we were sold out. I was like, impossible. They were saying it though, and that really pisses me off. Somebody sabotaged our concert. And I started seeing a trend. Anytime we did red ribbons, something bad happened. And so I'm breaking that curse. It's not a curse. Jesus, we're being sabotaged. And we tracked down a lot of it. And thankfully, but, you know, that's pretty wicked. Somebody doesn't want us talking about something. Hold on. I'm being a perfectionist here. Somebody doesn't want us talking about red ribbons because it's like right on the mark. That's what we think. So we're pretty sure that they're tagged, meaning the children who are their baby concubines in a sense. They're trafficked, they're sold, there are a lot of things that are very bad happen to them. Bad things happen to me too. And because we believe that we inadvertently hit the nail on the head, I mean, I knew my story, how applicable I didn't realize. And yeah. So yeah, we've gotten threats, not so much directly, but indirectly, and we've had sabotage happen, and it's not a coincidence. So, you know, we brought all of this to the government, and we are awaiting. We're not scared. I mean, obviously. I don't give a shit about these evil people. I am interested in sitting down with them in front of the entire friggin' world and putting them on the stand, and I want some answers. I want to know how closely this is related to my grandfather and the circles he ran with. I want to know why the hell they're bothering me, which I can kind of guess why, many reasons. I'm not. You know? Yeah. You know how many times I've had people say, isn't it about time you pass down this? Family members, friends, close people. And I'm like, who told you that? Who told you and influenced you to say that? I don't fucking know. There's been everything from colleagues of theirs, landlords, church people, people that you would probably never expect, wolves in sheep clothing type of a thing. And I'm like, knock it off. I mean, I don't like having to tell somebody in my family or my close friend to cut the shit. It's gonna hurt them. And they're like, oh, what do you mean? I'm so surprised. Cut it out, all right? Think back into your memory. I know it might be hard for you because the shit in the sky that's being sprayed. Oh, the sky's getting a little bit bluer now. You know, so we're under the same thing. But yeah, we don't fall for the Jedi mind trick or the Jedi mind fuck as it's been known as. Or in The Sims, Influence 2, when you have a little chart, right? And you click on Influence 2, wash the dishes, do a back rub, you know, talk to somebody, go on a date, all that kind of stuff. It's a fun little simulation, role-playing type game. And, you know, I'm like, that's very interesting. And so we researched it, you know, and so you have the left and the right thing. So they control both sides of this corporation, the corporation, not one specific corporation, but I mean it as another term, you know, what, call it mafia, call it gang, call it, I don't know, whatever that group is. And we did a lot of research and we were finding out there's all these hint drops, you know, I was talking about the videos we were watching on the sequels. Red ribbons and, you know, the whole story in Animal Farm with the Molly. And so I was tagged to be a Molly. And I don't want to be a Molly. And they're kind of frustrated with me because they've given me a choice in a sense. I'm taking my life into my own hands and I'm saying I don't want to be a Molly. I don't want to be with you and I don't want to be dead. I want to do my own thing, set children free, make myself free also because I have been their Scheherazade and I'm really kind of fucking done with it. And I'm not their mermaid and a whole bunch of things. I'm a mermaid. Damn it. I used to play mermaid when I was a little girl. And I did it until I was a teenager too. Woohoo! Okay, yeah. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of younger siblings and stuff, and I played mama in a sense, you know, we would have fun in our pool and all of that. So I was very playful and I still am. And, you know, please, I know it sounds so funny and ridiculous, but what do you do when you have a whole bunch of younger siblings? You play with them. It's fun. So there you go. And, you know, so I'm a little kind of done with these people. If you want my stuff, there's a proper way to approach me. I am so turned off with the little fairy tale, let's plant this little present behind her car, maybe she'll open the box up, a little red ribbon tied to it, and then here you go. An invitation to a show, and then, oh my gosh, you're performing, let's discover her. I've discovered my own self. Thank you very much. No, that's not organic. It's manipulative, it is filled with guile, and I am repulsed by it. Okay? Just stop. There's so much authentic, beautiful things and beautiful people out there, and I could probably count at least on my 2 hands and feet how many people have beautiful hearts and souls that deserve more than they have. Including me and my family for sure, but other people I know as well, and they will remain nameless because I know how these awful people are. Contact tracing, they'll find these people to either lift up, to hurt me, not a jealousy type thing, but to, you know, lift them up and steal my stuff through them, you know, access type of thing, or they'll go after them, and I don't want that for anybody. So if you're one of those people that we totally shoved away from us, you might want to consider that we were trying to protect you. As a matter of fact, you probably should, unless you're an enemy. If you're part of the enemy, we pushed you away because you're part of the enemy. Please, get a brain. Why would we want you in our circles? I don't think it's wise. It says, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Who came up with that pithy thing? If somebody's that close, they're going to stab you in the back. No, thank you. You can keep an eye on your enemy in another way, but that's why we don't tolerate that in our company. The second we find someone fake in our company, we figure out how to, you know, we try to be nice. Sometimes you can't be. Sometimes I like being nice. Sometimes, you know, it's like, wait a minute, I told you could choreograph this dance, but you can't do it in this way. There's a good reason for it, because this dancer is being disciplined because they were hogging the spotlight in a duet. Example, right? So, and you're getting mad at me because I'm pulling rank. Well, this is my company, and I'm doing you a nice service and a nice favor. Now I can pay these people for it, but when we were first starting off, everyone was donating. That was my way of rewarding and paying, you know. And now we pay people, and me too. So, you know, that kind of stuff we don't tolerate anymore. So if they want to make me the bad guy, we have documentation that shows that they're the bad guy, or at least badly behaving. For whatever reason, they get greedy, someone influences on the outside, whatever. So, my red ribbons story. We've had a lot of interesting things happen, like an instance similar, possibly, to what I just said. And just a lot of really negative, horrible things would happen. And I'm like, this is such a beautiful story. What the heck? And it's most of our members' favorite pieces for us to do. That, Fight for Love, The Silent Rose, you know, we have a few. But definitely Red Ribbons is the top. It's an audience favorite, and people know it because I've said it, and they've seen when we did have the good audiences. And, you know, they get a little bitchy and pissy, and so they try to tear it apart. It's like, oh wait, that's their favorite? Let's take it and put it on somebody else. Oh, wait. We go after people when we see people do that. Hey, guys, wake up. We've been sending everything to President Trump, so we're done. We were cool, and we approached the legal way, the friendly way, the gracious way, the merciful way, and people still didn't get, it wasn't a hint either. They didn't get the message. They didn't want to comply. So now you're gonna get it. You stand blameless, you are to be blamed. So that, really, we're done. And so as this Red Ribbons myth, lore, legend, true story has evolved into this huge, massive thing, I did not realize that we were really pushing the button, hitting the nail on the head so precisely. And I was like, well, no, duh. Of course we're going to get this horrible thing because that's somebody's business. They're making money off of this, and they don't want us, who are not doing this redirect, fantasy fiction, because I have a fantasy fiction book based on my true story, though. And I also have the real story. Yeah, Amazon really promotes the fictitious one. Not so much the true life story one, which came first, published. And I find that interesting. They won't use the word red in, you know, the book link line. You get a number, and there's also keywords that they put in the URL. And we called them out on it. We even sent it to Trump. That was the first book. You don't use red ribbons, but for the cartoon, fantasy, children's book version, you do. We're gonna get it fixed. I am really fucking done. So anyway, yeah. It's factual. Go look. And, you know, so we're like, well, how many businesses out there have this nice little business front? What you see with us is what you get. The front is the back, is the side, is the top, is the bottom. Come look for yourselves. Nothing to hide. And that is why we are a threat to evil people. Good. We're doing something right then. But a lot of other people cowered and said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And then they were paid off and given positions or, you know, given another outlet or something like that. But with me, they're like, I'm going to make you a star. I don't really want to be one. I could have been one. Aaron Spelling's like, I don't know if he was joking or serious, but I had an opportunity. Star. What is that exactly? That's a concubine, somebody being controlled massively. You think I don't have freedom now? Could you imagine actually being vetted underneath of that? No more red ribbons. They drop a hint of, yeah, so, and they're doing it now. And I have nothing to do with these people, really. Except them trying to pursue me. Isn't that the type of thing, a dance company, that you pass on? Go kiss off. No, it's not the type of thing, because it's mine. I don't want to do that. Good for Martha Graham. Good for Ailey. Good for all of them. You know? Not what I want to do. I don't have to. It's my stuff. It will always remain my stuff, even if I'm dead. So they don't like that. And I know why they want me to pass it on. They were going to do a nice little trade-off with me. Star. Okay, well, you know what? You had your chance at doing that, because there was a time I wanted to do that. And you guys decided, what? Did they make me sick? Did I get cancer? Is that you gave me cancer? Look, you read Dr. Hulda Clark's book. You'll know how to give somebody cancer. If you have access. We don't have that. Personally, we don't have access to that shit. That causes it. I mean, where am I going to get methanol? Where, I mean, you know, I can test for it, but that's the thing. I'm just saying. My mom had cancer in 3 weeks. Are we sure that somebody wasn't lying about the diagnosis or gave it to her? I know how to do it. If I had enough time and if people in my family would have told me, I would have, you know, done something sooner. But yeah, it was 3 weeks. She was dead. Diagnosed, dead. Okay. Very interesting story. As the plot thickens, deepens, and unfolds some more. So it's not that I've ever lied about it. I only knew so much. But more is being discovered. So I have my red ribbons. I'm trying to perform it. I'm trying to do what I know to do. And I'm being stopped. Seriously oppressed. Seriously thwarted. And like I was saying, you all had a chance. You wanted that star thing happening with me. Then why were you sticking me in an office being a secretary? Please. You know. And then I said, screw these people. And I started doing my own thing. And I was like, you know what? I don't need money. I don't need funding. And guess what? My husband and I, the first film we did out of graduating film school, Emmy nominated. 5 Emmy nominations. And it also won some other very prestigious media awards. Yeah. I think we're pretty good. And now looking back, that was a while ago, I think we're even better. And we cut our own albums, and it's just like, screw these people. I'm not interested in organized crime. I'm not, that's what my grandfather was involved with, come to find out. And I'm not interested in being a part of any of that. But there's an old saying that you can't have a pizza parlor, especially in Brooklyn or New York, unless you pay people off. How true is that? Well, I'm starting to think it might be very true. But I'm starting to think that everything is like that now. It wasn't. These people seriously infiltrated and bred within, in a sense, and put their people. Gatekeeper, gatekeeper, gatekeeper. And that's why there's so much lawlessness in these big cities, especially the Democrat ones. Oh yeah. Gatekeeper letting the gatekeeper. So you put this kind of crap and crime in a very less affluent neighborhood, it's easy to get away with, because usually those people are just struggling so hard just to survive. They're good people. They don't live well. Hey, I've been there. And there sometimes, you know? So it's really sad. But then comes along us living in a less affluent neighborhood, doing the affluent type person thing, standing up, calling people out and saying, where's that money going? Oh, you ain't treating me like that. Wait, what's that over here? I don't think so. This is what all citizens are supposed to be doing. Shame on everybody because they saw and did nothing. Shame on the people who are gatekeepers. Look, this needs to be torn down. Otherwise, that's 1984. You understand? It's not the government, although there are people in government that will create that. Obviously, we don't have any free, we can't even go to church right now. Please. But people can protest, and people can do sports. What about the performing arts? We already figured out how to work around this crap. Won't be hard. But, you know, I'm just saying. And let's define COVID. Go watch my COVID series. We don't think it's biological like cold flu. We think it's a chemical. Look up chemical pneumonia. Watch that video. That's all I'm going to say about that here. So my red ribbons. Why are people trying to shut me up and say, oh no, you can't do this? It's not. Don't keep it for yourself. Well, why? And then I suggested things like, well, maybe I'll get back into going for my kinesiology degree so I can do physical rehabilitation. Yes, do that. I am not going anywhere near the medical profession until it cleans up its act. I don't want to be lumped into some of those people's group. Some are heroes and some are villains, people. I know because I saw what happened to my family. Dead, gone. No. I don't like Dr. Kevorkians. I really don't. So, just saying. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So we have a lot to be concerned about here. Why are so many people... I mean, I do have advocates too, obviously. But I shouldn't have this many people trying to get me to give something up. That's a ministry. That's something so heartfelt. We have had an attorney sabotage our trademarks. Intentional sabotage or accidental? I don't know. I think we know. You know. And all these years, nobody tries trademarking red ribbons at all for anything. And then somebody kind of mirrors a little bit of what we do. Bullshit. We're suing them, by the way. They ain't using our mark. To hell with these people. We told Trump knows. Y'all are afraid of him, and you should be. And y'all are more afraid of me, and you should be. We're done with this bullshit. Oh my God, people are just... We tried doing it the nice way. You guys don't understand. That's why we've been telling him too. It's like these people don't know how to negotiate. They have no morals. They don't understand good business. So, you know, they only understand this or whatever you want to call it. That's unfortunate. So we're all talking legally here, though, with us anyway. Speak for ourselves. They're going to pay a dear price for what they've done. They have to. I don't want it happening to you or to somebody else. 1984, here we are. Not the government. It's a corporate war. World War III is a corporate war, and we have been in it for quite a while. And us very specifically, because our stuff has been used for this war and the propaganda machine and all of it that goes with it. And I'm like, you know what? Stop eavesdropping, people. Okay. I love this. I'll answer a question that you guys are probably asking. So, we're in a rental home, obviously. I take this wherever I go. There's several reasons. It's my encouragement. This is what I fought so hard for. Oh, look at those abs. Sexy. See that? I love it. Set. We're getting back there again. And, anyway. It's not vanity, although I must say I look good. You do know the story. Read my book, right? I was always helping getting all these glamorous dresses when I worked for Aaron Spelling. I did everything. I did production. I did personal and, you know, transiting beautiful dresses. And it's like, I knew that I was going to have them. So, you know, I had my wedding dress, of course. But it was such an honor to have this for me. And be beautiful and be a princess or a queen, however you look at it, for at least a day. And the memories remain. But I keep it with me to remind me and to encourage myself because I accomplished a lot. You know why? I had to hide from these people and use different last names, and sometimes it just happened because, you know, I got married, adopted, stuff like that. Professional name. I had to. And every time I was able to, you know, trick them in a sense. Knowingly sometimes and not knowingly. I knew something was up my whole life. I'm like, this, was that you?
Yeah.
You alright?
Mm-hmm.
But I never knew exactly what. Oh, hon, can you get me some more of this? This was amazing.
Yes.
I'm so sorry, but thank you. I always knew something was up with my life, so, you know, I couldn't put my finger on it, and it took decades to actually figure this out. Thank God. But at least I did figure it out, because I want the second act, my second act, to be beautiful. And my first act was beautiful, but it was really, really hard. And it shouldn't have been like this. Now, how I was saying, they were trying to get me to be a star, waving that little carrot. Ooh, come on, Molly. That's what they wanted me to be, a Molly. Read Animal Farm. You really understand that term. And I'm like, I'm just, you know, I'm not this mindless, beautiful creature that gets groomed and puts red ribbons in her hair and is a concubine and just wants beautiful, nice things, and as long as you satiate that in me, for me, and I'm a blonde that, hey, I can have whatever I want, but I have to put out and give out whenever it's called out. But oh, I will have the image around me for all the world to see of mighty power, grace, beauty, and talent. All right, you know what? I've got that all on my own. And I am not vain in that sense where I need, If I want to be beautiful and groomed and be a Molly, I'll make my own self Molly in a sense. You know what I'm saying? If I have beautiful dresses and things like that, it's because I made it happen. And I worked hard and I saved up for it. I'm like every man's man, woman, in a sense. I am that down-to-earth girl, and I can be also the waif and this glamorous beauty queen too, and a ruler, like queen persona if you're going to talk about acting, and yet I could also portray the slave, and yet I still retain myself. And no, one thing that my grandmother made sure about me, and it's something that oh, thank you so much, honey, and I keep in the forefront, and God does too, to me, for me. Pride is the most evil, wickedest sin, and all sins are based from it, in it. So my red ribbons have kept me humble, and the struggles and the fight. Hold on. But I turned it down. And it's not so direct like you would see it in the movies. Oh no, that's the redirect, guys. That's the joke. You know, like the whole mafia thing, the Godfather films. That's the mythology. The presentation of it, the glamour of it, all of that. That's the front, okay? That's the redirect, so you don't actually, let me continue that. So that's the front, so you don't actually know what it is. That's how they hide. Hollywood is a propaganda machine. I'm not saying that art doesn't happen, but it's a propaganda machine. Brainwashing. What do you want anybody to think about anything? Oh, what are we trying to get across and take away as a freedom for humanity? Remember when there was this big ecology movement? Preserve the earth? I'm all for that. I was down for that one. Took away a lot of our freedoms. And now we're all these Greenpeace people with all this shit being sprayed in the air. It's not part of the propaganda machine now. So that's there, but, you know, oh no, let's focus on global warming, and that's the given excuse for this white crap in the air. Yeah. Tell me another story, please. So, you know, I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't like the idea of the more I talk on the phone to any given high up there echelon person, or even an up and coming, you know, I didn't realize that I was conversing and actually giving people my stuff. No, I'm basically telling you my true life story of how I was brought into the whole dance world with my grandmother and the red shoes story, not so you could put it on a celebrity, and then wait a minute, my true life story is gone, and that person's a fake. I never agreed to that, but they were trying to show me and then I would get access to people. To hell with that. This is America. We have freedom and right to reach out to anybody. People have been having a hard enough time reaching me. The corporation made me their commodity. They made my dance vessel, my red ribbons, all of it their commodity after I paid for all of this, after I suffered, after it's actually my story, my creation. We had to tell some people the truth and tell them off and send dissertations and cease and desist letters, and I'm like, we can't condone this behavior. And some of you colleagues who do, we need to have a little talk, okay? Because if you're participating in that, we will still love you and we will do our best to help you, but we need to really document it in writing and give you a letter and saying, look, this is why we're not doing this and this and this and this for you or with you anymore. Because that's not, come on, stand up. The reason we have these problems is because there aren't more people like me saying, hey, dangle all the carrots, but I don't have an asking price. And that's what frightens these people the most. What do I want? Well, now I'm going to cash in. Get a 9 and write about 12 zeros after it. Oh yeah, I'm cashing in. That's, you know how many billions of dollars these CEOs have made and all of that? Who's running their show? Who's on top of that, behind the scenes or whatever? And you know what? If any of them cooked the books, too bad, because we know how much every movie that any of my stuff has appeared in has made. We've been documenting it all these years, so not so fast. You know, they know they're SOL. They're getting very desperate and they're fighting back even harder. We know this because everywhere we go, we're doing poisoned and all this weird shit happens to us. Watch our videos, right? Really. If it wouldn't happen to me, it might be funny. It's really bad. So yeah. Because I made my red ribbons known, because for one heart, I thought, acting a little strange, I don't know this for sure, I don't want to falsely accuse, not like they were doing anything wrong. If somebody was raped or molested as a child or an adult or something like that, you know, it's not a false accusation, it's a false assumption, you know, and I wasn't trying to hurt this person. I was trying to be a safe access point to say, hey, this is what happened to me, and if it happened to you, which I kind of felt it did, because God really put this on my heart. I was like, wait, Lord, you want me to make a dance about how I was raped? All right, I'm trusting you, whatever. And, you know, the door was open. It's a lot less intimidating by saying, you know what, this is the truth now. I've worked with a lot of people and ministered to them who've been raped like I have, as an adult and as a child. And you're doing certain tendencies that are kind of giving me the flags because I've worked with so many people for so many years for so long. I kind of see the signs, and I see in you what was in me. So maybe if you want, we can have a talk, and I'll just listen and not talk and be a sounding board for you. But that's scary. You can't really do that unless God really anoints you and really places that pathway for you. So I did it in a safer way. I could be completely wrong, but just in case, not. So the dance that was meant for one heart as a gift, a sacrificial gift, oh man, did I suffer for that. I still am. But you know, so be it. Because someday maybe that person will say, hey, you were right, and I'm sorry if anything happened, and I can say I'm sorry too, and you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend, play, or fantasize, or dream up anything. It is what the status is at the moment. So, yeah, I want to be able to be strong about all of this. But you know, what was meant for one heart is now meant for many, and I've helped set a lot of people free. I know it because they told me. or I'll see it, or something. And I'm going to continue doing my red ribbons whether I have nobody in the audience, one person in the audience, a million people in the audience. We've had all sorts of things. Of late, it's not been as plentiful, though. It's been pretty obvious what's been happening. So, you know, I'm not going to stop, because eventually we will completely win, and I will be completely free. This is what I'm talking about. When I did my company Twitter, they do like Free Noelle Rose. This is what we're talking about. I've been enslaved. You don't have to have a certain skin color to be enslaved, people. Okay? I'm not putting anybody down. I'm not taking anything away from it, but I've been enslaved. The Jews were enslaved. Look at how much they've been enslaved throughout time, okay? It's my heritage too. It's just really disgusting to me. So nobody owns slavery. Nobody owns that suffering. It happens on many levels to many types of people of all walks of life, race, everything. So I call it modern day slavery, because modern day techniques and technology has been used to enslave me, and I'm basically having to tell stories like Scheherazade to save her life, to save my life. And at one point I decided I'm done living like that, because I'm not living, and I'm not making a living at what I should be, and I'm suffering. I'm having to live almost in a ghetto, not quite, but in a very not so good environment. There are worse, but you know, and they're trying to push us out. They're gassing us. They're poisoning us in our home. That's why we're here. I don't want to be here. It's too fucking hot. I want to be in Los Angeles, where I'm supposed to be. So, you know, President Trump, you really kind of need to get your keister moving and do something, because there's nothing okay with us. And so, you know, I started coming forward with this, and I had to tell part of my red ribbon story, because I'm like, well, what makes you think that? Well, first of all, I am a bit of a celebrity, so I'm a target. My grandfather's history makes me a target. There's a lot that makes me a target. And my being really good at what I do makes me a target too. And the whole red ribbons thing hitting the nail on the head, it looks like. Yeah, so, you know, I'm not for that horrible world. I'm not part of it, and I won't sing that, meaning that. You know what I'm saying? You know that lyric, part of your world? I really don't want to be that world. I want to be part of my beautiful world and free. So Free Noelle Rose, hashtag that, right? I want to be able to be me, and in every sense of the word. And I want other people free too. Yeah. So red ribbons has a bigger meaning. Just like Limon, when they used a prop, it would transform. It's a table block, now it's a shroud, you know? Now it's a veil, now it's a bridge, now it's water, now it's a blanket for lovers within the same piece. Pretty interesting. So we actually borrowed that technique in a lot of our pieces. My red ribbons inadvertently. This is epic, people. I know, I'm overwhelmed by it. Happy, not happy about the whole thing. I mean, this is, you know, it's like walking through filth, being a clean person. I don't like that this has happened, but maybe I did help that one heart that I intended it for. Sorry. And then it was all worth it, you know? It's not like, oh, I don't care if we're not friends, or I don't care if we are friends. I don't want to be sounding flippant, because I don't want to hurt this person. If they watch the video, they know my channel. You know, I don't mean it like that, but, you know, I can't control anybody. I'm not going to force anybody. You have to be my friend. They need to understand, and so does the friggin' school, that they had no right doing, school had no right doing the horrible stuff that they did to both of us, number one. And then this person just needs to know. Wait. Look, I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna make sure you do too. And I do see you as a sister. I know you think mother-daughter. I don't do that. I just don't do mother-daughter anymore. I had some people do that with me, and they got so manipulative and so controlling with me, and it hurt me so bad. It doesn't go well. I had a mother. I have a stepmother, in a sense. My dad remarried. I had my grandmother, you know, and I love you guys. Please, I don't mean to say I would hurt you by saying, oh, but I saw you as my daughter. Okay, that's fine. You know, I'm not insulted by that, but, you know, I don't want that lording over me like mother, like that. You know, it has to be a very soft mom in a sense, like mom. But I see this person as my sister. Hopefully in Christ someday, we'll see. I ain't gonna force that on anybody either. But then it was all worth it. And then, like I said, for the one heart has now, was meant for the one heart has now changed for, you know, meant for many. Yeah. And maybe even more than I realize. Because if these red ribbons are the real story, not the real story, but used to tag children for real, I'm doing it for them too. Very interesting. The Molly character in Animal Farm wore red ribbons. Oh, when I first read that, it was recent. It was during this whole sabbatical thing that we've been on, right? You read that too, right?
Oh, which one?
Animal Farm?
Yeah, I read that.
I don't know about your reaction, but when I read the character Molly, and I'm like, Lord, what does Molly mean to these people? What does George mean to these people? What do the red ribbons mean to these? I really earnestly wanted to know, because I'm like, Alexander, and what is this? And slowly but surely, the good Lord put these things in our pathway, and I'm like, I'm really drawn to read Animal Farm. What the hell? How long is this book? 180 something pages? Okay, let's spend an afternoon or two and read this. And I was like, oh my gosh, March. That's when I think the leader pig died or something like that. And then you got the March Hare in the Alice in Wonderland, the Alice in the Looking Glass series. The red, white, and black, you know, the Nazism. The red, white, and black is used. Like, those are our colors. And I'm like, I'm not for Nazi stuff. What the hell? You know, that was, no, red, blood of Christ, white, purity, black, coming out of the darkness. That's what we meant. We might change that, because things that we find out is like, I didn't know this. Who thinks to research that like that? It's like, ew. You know, so it was like all of this starts unfolding, and I'm like, holy crap, no wonder. And then with my background, my family background, and then putting all these, you know, we're getting pieces, and you don't know what the final picture is going to look like. Hey, we don't have the box cover, people. My family's dead, and I'm only getting little trickles of information here and there, and finding little gems and jewels, because as people drop dead, and I'm not trying to be flippant, but I'm also trying to like put it very raw to you. Not trying to be disrespectful for my dead family, but you know, that's how stark it is. They're dead. And as they die, I'm like, wait a minute, where's their bodies? Why can't I see their bodies? Why wasn't I asked to participate in, apparently their ashes are distributed somewhere? I wanted some of that because I was going to test the DNA to make sure it wasn't Rover. Oh yes, you do know that some crematories, they don't give you your family's loved one's body's ashes, it's Rover. Or who knows? I'm like, I was discussing that with my son, and then my family behind my back didn't even invite me, and they get rid of the ashes. They were influenced, I think, to do that. I don't know. Family members call me. It's like you guys are just ignoring me, and I'm trying to get through to you, and our phones are not. What the hell's up with that? You know, don't be offended by what I'm saying. Be concerned like I am, because something's up. Someone influencing you that? Because we were talking, my son and I, talking about, hey, you know what, I think we need to do something. And then all of a sudden, it was a fait accompli. And it happened after we've come to find out. after our conversation. And I'm like, where's my mother's body? And then in the news, there was some story about somebody's looking for somebody's body. And I'm like, we just started talking about that. And then a story developed with that weird twist in it. I'm like, no, I mean, I really don't know where my mom's body is. I was told it was donated to science and it could still be there for all I know. Or is my whole family's and their bodies enshrined somewhere? Because you know what? This little thing that my grandfather was involved in, apparently, who the hell knows? I told my family, nobody's getting my body. Not science, not donating anything, because I don't trust any of these people. There's something sadistic going on here. Yeah, my red ribbons. You see, it's grown, hasn't it? And I just did a dance for somebody to say, hey, I love you, I care, just in case you're not alone. I mean, that was the extent of it. That's such an interesting story. Anyway, so who knows what the next turn in this is? I have no clue. I'm not fabricating anything beforehand. I'm not doing a publicity stunt like all these other assholes who steal my stuff. Yeah. I'm just trying to be a good person and do good things and listen to the Lord and enjoy my art and share it with people. And yeah, I should be making money at it. Everybody else is making money at my art. I didn't give it forward to them. They stole it. Anyway, red ribbons. Hashtag that. If Twitter even lets you, or YouTube, or wherever the hell this is going to be put up, lets you see the videos. Oh my gosh, are we being like blocked, censored? Come on now. Get on our ship. It's sailing fast, or you're going to sink. You have a choice. I made my choice and I was brave. My life is on the line. No excuse for anybody. Just saying. Hey, should I add anything else? There's a lot of very strange, peculiar, suspicious vehicles passing by here, and they should not be at all. This is a very, very, I don't know how to say it. It's not a very common place, and it's a private community. What the hell? We had people waiting on the outside. Parked right where the cornerstone, you know, where a gate would be for the entryway for the community, right there, waiting for us. We drove past, we have it on video. And right away I was like, why are they taking pictures? And we drive, come around, because you can't make a left turn, you gotta go down the street and make a U-turn, and they were gone, they went. They saw me videoing. We had this, I had a phone and this camera running. And their dash cam. Yeah. I shouldn't have to live like this. Why are they keeping tabs on me? You probably want to know where I'm going, who I'm talking to. And it's really none of their damn business. I'm not free. Every time I took a dance class, apparently, somebody was listening to everything. Nice, huh? Who? How? What the fuck? Yeah. Very interesting. Every time that I had conversation, my aunt died last year. Yeah. We were at a restaurant. What's going on? Oh, I've got a lot of questions. All for my red ribbons, huh? Alright. Somehow it's worth it. Yeah. Beautifuls and beloveds, so I hope you found this kind of entertaining and interesting. You cannot use any portion of this for anything. We will come after you. Legally, that is. And we will make your life hell legally, that is. Because we're done. But, you know, just be inspired that these assholes didn't put me 6 feet under yet, and won't. And yeah, Jesus. Free Noelle Rose. Yay! I'm gonna free myself, nobody else. Love you guys. Bye. Want to get that for you?